You are listening to the Southwestern American Choral Directors Association Connections podcast, where we will interview choral directors, leaders, and movers and shakers within our region. I'm your host, Dr. Jeff Wall. We hope you enjoy these conversations. Please like and subscribe this YouTube channel for future content.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Dr. Josh Oppenheim on his maybe twice weekly commute between Kansas and Oklahoma. And hopefully our connection holds for a little while we do this. If not, that's okay. We'll go to audio. But Josh, take us first between the lines of your bio. Where and how did this journey with choirs and the arts kind of start for you and lead to your work today?
Oh, wow. So my journey, I guess I started I would say pretty late. I was not involved in any formal music all through middle school and most of high school. Looking back, I see the areas and the outlets that I was doing music, but nothing formal. But my older brother was in choir, and I used to, of course, tease him about being in choir, as you know, 80s kid is wanting to do. And so my junior year of high school, after watching him be in choir for, I don't know, 6 years maybe, I was like, man, they sure do go on a lot of trips. So I was like, I think I want to get some of that. So I joined, full confession, I joined because they just did a lot of cool trips and it looked like they had a lot of fun socially. So that's the true, unbiased, unvarnished motivation. But then we lived, I grew up I was born in Ann Arbor, and then we grew up in Jackson, Michigan. And so about 30 minutes from University of Michigan campus. And so Jerry Blackstone came out and did a clinic with us. This was probably 6 weeks into my first semester, my junior year. And I was just mesmerized and just utterly captivated by that interaction, whatever that was. And I just said at that moment, I was like, that's what I want to do. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know much about it, about the job or what it meant. I just knew immediately. I was like, that looks amazing. So yeah. And then I just went straight to the deep end and said, after 6 weeks of being in choir, decided, oh, okay, I can see my path now for the next 60 years or so. And so I did my undergrad then at Western Michigan, and it was similar kind of experience. Went and observed a rehearsal my senior year and just was mesmerized by the choir rehearsing the sixth movement of the Rachmaninoff Vespers, and I was just, okay, this is where I'm going to go. And did my undergrad there, and taught for a few years in Michigan, and then did my master's at Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi, and then taught for 2 years, or a year in between that, and then went over to North Texas and did my doctorate, Jerry McCoy, and first job right out of that was at the Crane School of Music in upstate New York. Very, very, very upstate. I was 20 minutes from Canada and 20 years from everybody else. So that was tough. And then, so I spent 2 years there. And then the job at Kansas State opened up. And Julie had taken the job. The previous choir director at K-State retired the year before, so she got that job, and then the next choir director retired, and I applied and got that job. So I'm now finishing I'm just doing the math. I think this is finishing my 17th year at Kansas State.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is that
man.
What you were looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the things in between the lines that maybe we didn't know or that people didn't take the time to read, but yeah, you've been kind of all over and had lots of very different experiences. And I think that's the first time I met you two. You may not remember, but I was interviewing up at at Crane, Potsdam, for one of those
What?
jobs. Yeah, I didn't get it, but it was early on in my career. I think I either just finished the doctorate or I was in between ABD or something. So yeah, I went up
Was
there,
it
and
when I was leaving that job?
it might have been when you were leaving. Yeah, it might have been.
So
You were still
2000.
there. We were just kind of passing in the hallway there. Yep.
Yeah, that was my job. Yeah, or I was. So it was like probably I don't know March or something. I'm guessing. Um, yeah, I don't. I think I was there because I met the candidates, but I don't
Mhm.
remember. I mean, I remember you, of course. Of course, now I
Of course you do.
remember.
Of course, of course. Yeah.
Now
Well,
you were wearing
that was many
you were
pounds
wearing
and
that
hairs
suit.
ago. So many pounds and hairs ago. So no fault there.
Yeah, you had that cool suit and that tie and that baton.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right. Yeah. You know, in hindsight, it's a great school. But you know, this Texas boy probably could not have survived those winters. So yeah.
It was when I interviewed. They were like, "Well, it gets cold." I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Michigan, so I get it." They're like, "No, it's different."
Yeah.
I was like, "Is it though?" They're
Yeah.
like, "Well, you'll notice the difference between like -12 and -20." And I was like, "Because it's usually when you hit the negatives, it's like okay, it's just cold." But
Yeah.
you did. You felt -12 started to feel like, "Oh, okay, it's not too bad." And then of course everybody when it's 34 degrees, they're wearing t-shirts, shorts.
Oh, sure.
But
Well, cool. Anyway, yeah, a little personal tangent there, but
yeah,
I think we also need to kind of play hail to the chief. We have you here as president-elect of Southwestern. Um, so congratulations on that. That's awesome.
thank you, thank
For
you.
for for now, what role are you leading for this cycle under President Jonathan Owen? Tell us what your role is with SWACDA for this conference.
So I'm basically just getting coffee. I think, as far as I know, I Margie Camp I think I've gone to her house like 30 times this past month just to bring her coffee. I didn't. I'm fine with it. I didn't realize that was part of the gig, but she's got a very consistent order, so they
It's
know me
Diet
at
Coke. It's
Starbucks.
Diet Coke, by the way. Yeah, you have to bring her Diet Coke. Yeah.
There you go. She chases it with coffee. Um, no, So right now, uh, I'm in charge of organizing the performance choirs, um, the getting the listening committee together. I think that's what we call it. The group that listens to all the submissions, and organizing that process. And so I think that's my main task right now. And then we have a site visit first week of June to Albuquerque, which is awesome because I've never been, and very excited to see the place and see all the sites. So I'm sure there'll be other things that I do to help with, but right now that's kind of the main gist of my gig.
Yeah, and that's kind of timely why I wanted to bring you on today so we could talk a little bit about this application process and adjudication
Yeah,
process for
yeah.
the performing choirs. So tell us what kind of choirs we're looking for to feature for SWACDA Albuquerque. Where can people find the application and requirements, and anything you want to add there?
Yeah, so everything is on the SWACDA website, swacda.org. I think you might have to click the link for conferences and push the 2026, but shouldn't be a couple clicks away to find the application. But so in terms of choirs, we're looking for basically everything in terms of elementary through professional, all those layers, and then different voicings within there, and tenor-based choirs and treble choirs, and you name it. Just a wide range, and I'm excited about sort of being now on the inside of the process a little bit, having been someone who's been on the outside and doing and applying in the past, bringing that experience to the sort of shaping the application process. I felt like the crew team here did a good job of sort of augmenting the application process, the experience of how to apply, trying to make it, I guess I would say, sort of lowering the barriers of entry, so to speak. And in the main specific way that we sort of tackled was the idea of putting your proposed program for the conference in your application. So we tweaked it a little bit so that there wasn't such a heavy emphasis on putting your exact program in, because we all know it's near impossible to predict what kind of students you'll have, especially for the academic choirs, what kind of students you're going to have in the next fall and spring. So we made some adjustments there that I think will make the application process less daunting than maybe it's been in the past. But then it has, the standard submit recording, so that the committee can get a sense of what your choir is, what they do, what you do. And so we're looking for lots of people to apply. And I don't really know yet from the inside how many people typically apply, how many don't typically apply. I know just from my own experience, it's basically part of my job requirement at the university for promotion and tenure to apply to these things all the time. So I always felt a sense of purpose to apply, and have had, I don't know how many over the years have done, but so I don't know the population of members that are out there that maybe haven't yet applied, or I don't know what that looks like, or what that number is, or what might be reasons why people wouldn't apply. But we would all, the entire exec board and everybody, really want to encourage people to apply, especially if you've not applied before. If you're in your eligibility time frame, it's absolutely worth a shot. Just doing the application itself is a good experience. I've gotten to the point in my life now where I just repeat the phrase "experience matters" in everything, and so doing something multiple times is helpful. And just the knack of or just the experience of putting the application package together kind of does inform you then for the next time. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this differently and try to get these types of recordings, and try to plan for recording in a different environment or whatever it is. But yeah, I think really want to encourage everybody to apply. Like I said, we tried to lower the barrier of entry and make it as easy as we could to do so for that. So yeah, sorry, I don't know if I talked way too long, but
No, that's cool. No, I think you hit on some important things there, and we do want choirs of all types. And if I can make any kind of encouragement, we've had, the expected choirs of, large high school and universities that typically apply. But we want to encourage choirs of all types, as you said, from children's choirs, civic choirs, church choirs, everybody. And some may have
community choir,
community choir, yeah, everything. So, you may have some imposter syndrome of, well, I couldn't do that. Well, yeah, go ahead and submit. And as you said, redundancy, even if you don't get selected this time, just the experience of applying will help you in any future applications. So, we really encourage you to do that, and you never know. You and your choir could be selected.
And I think the idea, at least sort of philosophically, is that we have a representation of a wide variety of types of groups. And so the listening crew and the vision, I think, is to try to get as much different representation as possible. So yeah, I don't know the with the imposter syndrome, like if you're teaching at a middle school or a high school or 2-year school or something, you may think, well, it's a 4-year school thing or something, and that's not what we're trying to present. It's important to show good work and at every level, And but we have to, in order to be able to do that, we just have to have people apply for those places. Because I put together the listening committee, oh gosh, back in October, I think, fairly early. But I just reached out to everybody I knew literally around the world, just to get a wide perspective, which I think is always helpful. And so we have, in that process, I made sure to pick people that were really sort of experts in, middle school, sort of middle school, I guess, choirs, elementary school, children's choirs, four-year schools, professional choirs, community choirs, you name it. It's just a wide range of people. So, when the applications are submitted, then we sort of disperse those to the people that had indicated what their particular strength was, where they felt most comfortable. So we're trying to, mirror, inform, and function what the goal is, which is to try to get as many people to give it a shot as possible. So, but yeah, I echo that encouragement.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So just to kind of highlight some of the venues that we'll be highlighting for Albuquerque, the Chemo Theater, which I don't think any of the performing choirs, the adjudicated choirs will be there, but we have St. John's Cathedral, and we have First United Methodist Church, lots of other great venues as far as the Albuquerque Convention Center, Clyde Hotel, and things like that, that other activities will be happening in. So Albuquerque is going to be, it's going to be lit. It's going to be fire, as the kids say, right?
Do we say that? Do we say that? Kids say that?
I think so.
I can't keep up.
I've got a 12-year-old.
I really
so
understand it.
We're trying.
Oh, you're in touch with it. Yeah. I really am excited when Jonathan first brought it up. Before he was sort of able to announce publicly, I thought it was a great idea, because I don't know that have we been as a.
No, this is the first time. This is the first time in Albuquerque.
I mean, what a great swing for the fences.
I think actually first time in New Mexico too. So it's awesome.
I just think, nothing wrong with the typical cities that we go to. And I know there's just a lot of factors that go into choosing the host city, and so many things that are kind of predetermined. So, it is common to sort of be sort of recycling similar cities, but so I thought this was just a really cool idea to do something different that's out there, and another great thing for all of us as a community to go do something different together. That's always a thrill. So it'll be everybody's first time at ACDA there, since we've never been there. So
right. And as far as like a choir's recruitment or retention, Albuquerque is a really cool place to visit, just for all of the cultural amenities and things that are there. So I think everybody's going to go and have a great time, aside from just the performance aspect.
Right. Yeah, I've never been. I'm excited to go in a couple weeks here and get a taste of it.
For sure. Oh, okay. The deadline is coming up quick. Tell us when that is.
May 15th, which is next Friday. No, Thursday? Did I get my dates wrong?
Thursday. May 15th is Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So 11:59 p.m. Is that?
PM.
Yes, that deadline.
Is that right before lunch, or is that right before midnight?
That's right before midnight. Yep.
Whoa. I expect to see 80% of the applications coming in at 11:56, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it. Get them in either way. If you make it before that deadline, that's what we're looking for. We want a good swath of choirs to adjudicate and to choose from. So get your submissions in. Before I let you go here, I know you're also kind of on a personal note launching a new project. Tell us about that.
Oh man. My drive. I only have 2 hours left of my drive. I feel like it's going to take me 12 hours.
Well, give us the brief overview.
Are you talking about Resound?
Resound, yeah.
Oh man. Well, thanks for asking. Boy, how do I do a summer pitch? I have been interested in sort of a professional choir slash something for quite a long time. I actually went to North Texas partly because McCoy had a professional choir there. Dr. McCoy had a professional group there. My dissertation project was actually the history and development of community and professional choirs in the United States. So for some reason, early on, I kind of had an itch that I thought I might want to scratch. So it's basically been, 30 years in the making. And then sort of on a slow burn for all that time, doing little bits of planning and research and thinking about it, and feasibility studies over the years. And the last 5 or 6 years, got some encouragement from some alumni and some colleagues of mine, and some people not in music either, some friends that are in other industries. And finally, basically last year, kind of put a board together and got to have some deeper talks, and was just sort of waiting to figure out when to push go, trying to decide, what format would be best. And I realized that after 9 months of that, or 12 months of that, I realized that a particular format isn't really what I like to do. I don't like to be locked in. So about 3 months ago, pushed go on an idea and a concept that basically was larger than just sort of a professional chamber choir. But so the organization is called Resound, and it's RE sound. So regarding sound, and but resound. So a little, of course, we have to have a music pun, right? But so there are 8 different groups that are, 9 groups now, 9 groups that are, they won't all be coming online at the same time, but 9 different groups for different communities. And the whole motivation was, I didn't just want to have, I didn't know if the world needed another professional choir. I think there are amazing professional choirs out there that do amazing things. So I didn't feel like there was a need for that, to one more of those. So, but I've always had these passions for youth choirs and community choirs, and in addition to professional choirs. But in general, my driving factor, the one statement is, I really feel like choral music, like all of us, we believe in the power of what it is and what it can do. And so I wanted to create an opportunity that would widen the tent and bring more people into the fold, not just as performers, but also as patrons, people that go and see choral music concerts. It's going to an ACA conference is amazing because you get to hear fantastic choirs and that's all your colleagues, but it's a concentration of people when we're really just performing for each other. And if you think about the other side of that, when we're performing at our home, we're just kind of performing for parents. And I feel like there's an avenue and there's a way to get to widen the tent so that more people are able to embrace the art form as performers themselves, and as patrons, people that go see it. So the different groups within that, the professional group is called Opus One, and that's the first group that'll launch. But the other groups are under the same umbrella, Resound, and then it's called Rise, and that's a youth children's choir organization. And then there's ARC, which is for unhoused communities or otherwise socially isolated people. There's Resound Unbound, which is for justice impacted individuals, and so in the prisons and that sort of thing, having groups in that or as part of the organization. We'll have instrumental ensembles and a resident ensemble in the Oklahoma City area, a contemporary a cappella jazz ensemble. So just quite a lot of things. It all happened really quite quickly, but the last 12 weeks. But I felt really motivated by the people around me and the volunteers that we have on board. The board of directors are just phenomenal, and yeah, I'm really excited and motivated and not sleeping. So it's all great.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, that's very ambitious. It sounds like a very ambitious project. Lots of choirs under that umbrella.
Yeah.
But I think that's really cool. I think people will be excited to look out for that and see that's coming whenever that all gets launched. Yeah. So thanks for telling us about that. And
thanks for the plug, man.
yeah, absolutely. Not a lot of people watch our videos. Hopefully they will now, though, so that when they hear that Resound is a part of it. So
Yeah.
where can people go to learn more about Resound?
So you can go to Resound Ensembles with an S, and there's no colon in the web address, but just resoundensembles.org. And it has all the what, where, when, why, how of what I just sort of explained. It has the board of directors on there, and this first group, Opus One, which is the professional chamber group. All the singers, the artists are on there. Those people are kind of all over the country. There's about half that are in the Kansas City area, but then the rest are from Michigan, Boston, Florida, Texas, North Carolina. So that first concert will be in October, but and then we're on the socials, Resound Ensembles. We do Facebook and Instagram. Not real heavy on Twitter and not yet on TikTok, but we'll see where as we grow.
Yeah, that's great, man. That sounds like a great vision of a project, and looks like it's all coming together.
Thanks,
I'm glad that
you
were able to kind of pull the trigger finally on a long-standing idea and get going with it. That's exciting. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's great. So where can people go to contact you specifically if they have questions to either follow up with you about SWACDA performance applications, or to follow you in your work more?
Just come over for dinner. Well, I'll make you some. I'm making some really good street style tacos lately. Just come on over. We'll chat.
Well, I'm coming tonight then. All right.
But if that's not convenient, you can. My best email is my school email right now. It's just Joshua O, the letter O, at KSU. My SWACDA email is not quite working yet. So I think once it finally gets turned on or something, that I'll probably have 8 million messages. But for now, for an immediate response, Joshua O at KSU.
Cool, that works. Yeah, I was pausing for a minute. I was trying to search for your SWACDA email too. Looks like it's the same. Joshua O at swacda.org.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But that's not being checked as regularly. So use his school email for now.
Right. I will once it gets turned on and the admin office is over there, then I'll be able to check it.
Cool. Right on. Well, hey, thanks for joining me today on your commute and on your drive, and
thanks,
talking a little bit to us about your backstory and Resound, but also this performing choirs applications and that process and where we're going with that. So we'll be glad to see everybody in Albuquerque. We'll be glad to see your applications for adjudication, and get those in, because time is short. So we'll get this video out.
You could knock out an application, presuming you have the recordings lying around. Just you could knock it out in 30 minutes pretty easily.
For sure.
Go for it.
Absolutely. Well, we strongly encourage. Okay, so all right, Josh, thanks for joining me today, and
thanks, man.
We'll see everybody next time.